there, beloved Ascension pioneers. I have an interesting topic for all of us today. It's about light beings, light activations, and so much more. Yes, it is so much more. It's happening on a major scale. I just had another light activation during my sleep time tonight. And it's very interesting, how these synchronicities work and how spirit flows and your guidance. Because today I thought I'm going to do a light activation on the balance, because the new moon tomorrow is going to be in Libra. So great balancing coming up in our lives. And also I was recently watching the show about the three-folded flame. And this is a great opportunity to talk about this and do an activation. So I thought I'm going to do this balancing and our inner heart balancing tonight. But I guess I'm guided to do it tomorrow on the day of the new moon, because the energies are the most intense then. And today I'm really guided to talk about that because I had a direct experience, one more. And not just that, many things are happening in our dream times. I just was told today by email what a sister of light wrote to me. She said that she has a dream kind of ability, and now many people are making contact with her in dream time, saying that they're also, in this Ascension Pioneers path, and they're also here in the path of Ascension and making contact. So she kind of thanked me for all the work I'm doing. Well, basically, I don't figure this as work. A lot of the times I see these light workers saying, oh, we have so much work to do, pressure, pressure, pressure. This is all coming from the ego. When you're truly guided through spirit, it's all about love. And you just do things naturally, and you don't even consider that work. When I say I don't feel that as work, I feel I'm called to do this right now, at this moment in time and space. I'm called to do this. And right now I'm called to do a video on light activations. And guess what? It's very funny because just yesterday, a beautiful brother of light and another sister, they were speaking about their own experiences, and they both had kind of like a light activation. These first started happening to me. Consciously, I was remembering them exactly on the day of 10-10-10. So the 10th of October 2010 was my first one that I truly remember. I was kind of in fear back then. It was all white and it was just energies, buzzing beings around me. And I was kind of scared because it was my first time. And I knew that it was in an altered state of consciousness and that something was happening. It was not just a dream. And I'm guided also to explain to all of you who have and will keep having these similar experiences. I will explain the difference between an ordinary dream and the light activation. And you will feel and know when the time is right. There is no fear, because this is our assistants, this is our helpers, and it's all in perfect divine order. So this started happening to me then. And every once in a while I have one of these activations, and they're really intense. I made a video about this last year, but then I unlisted all of my older videos because the quality of the sound and picture was so bad. So now I'm making another one, and I know there's so many new pioneers who are tuning into my videos. So today, before starting to discuss this further, I would like to read it, because I wrote it down. I wrote down the experience so that, it would stay in my book. This is my automatic writing book. And it's more easier for me to write about it and then to read, because then, I won't talk all gibberish to all of you. And before I start, I would just like to say that they're each unique. There's so many of us who are experiencing them, but they're unique because we're all on our own level, being activated on our own level. There's different beings working with us, but it's all the same destination, so to say. It's all about us getting more light, getting more frequency in our bodies, and we're doing a lot of the things lately in our sleep time. Maybe many people, when they wake up, they feel kind of tired, or sometimes I go to bed late and then I wake up late as well, and I feel that a lot of it is going on. Sometimes you just remember random dreams. You just don't even remember them. They're just scattered dreams, but you know that behind that, which is placed in your subconscious, is something much greater, and that you're traveling to many realms and doing amazing light work while you're sleeping. Basically, the part of you is sleeping and a part of you is working. So do we ever not work? Like I say, it's not work. It's a flow of spirit. So I'll read you what my experience was tonight. Tonight in my sleep, I had another light activation. I was standing in front of a bathroom mirror at first, and I invoked light beings to come and assist me with everything, and especially the challenges I have with my throat, because lately I'm in a purging period, and there's a lot of things, I have kind of like mucus sometimes accumulates here, and I changed my diet, but I don't think it's just that. I think it's something having to do with my energetic shift. So it's all cleansing right now. So what interesting thing was that before going to bed, I invoked beings. I said, I really want assistance with this. And guess what? It happened. So the problems that I have with my throat. They instantly came as a flashing light, and I clearly saw them with my third eye, and I felt their intense energy presence. It was like beings, you know, you feel them buzzing. They're buzzing sounds, you feel them and you see them. You see them, but they're like energy. They're like light beings. You see them and you feel them, but you're always kind of asked to just hold during the process. So I clearly saw them with my third eye, and I felt their intense energy presence. It's true. These feelings can be really intense when you feel their energies. In the next stage, I was again lying in bed while being activated. And during this process, you sort of feel and see everything. I was not afraid, but again, I was told to hold on while this is taking place. So I was patient, like being in a light surgery, so to say. I felt the energy in my throat area as well as a gentle wave. In my head area, it felt more intense, you know, because first I felt it here, then it was moving up in my head area. And there in the head area, it felt more intense, like a huge pressure. The light was sort of light blue, a bit pinkish, maybe violet, something like that. It was mixed color. They also opened my third eye twice. I remember twice looking like through a kaleidoscope. And I went into this state of stepping into formless being. You know, like entering from here, a deep, vast space, like into cosmos. So I saw deep space, the color of dark blue, kind of blackish blue. And then this space, these tiny dots, like sparkles, like stars, became black and white and started forming a flower of life. This was really beautiful. You know, all of a sudden, from the inside out, a flower of light was starting to form. And I said to myself in that moment, that is why I'm being guided to buy the Flower of Life pendant now, because this is what's happening. I'm buying via eBay. I'm buying a Flower of Life pendant. It was beautiful, and I waited until the energy was gone. There were a few aftershocks of this energy. They came a bit unexpectedly as I no longer felt their presence. So I think this was mostly my own energy reaction to the procedure, the settling of energy in my bodies. And that's true. It takes a time to assimilate that and these codes of energy, of light. I awoke feeling very excited, like filled and exuberated, joyous, and with a deep memory and knowing of what just took place. It's like, wow, again, light activation. I was really happy because I always know that these bring so much into my life, and not just my own, like in the service to others as well. I feel I was being prepared for this the entire weekend, which was this weekend, as I had electric energy running through my palms and body for the last 2 days now. In a dream, I also was recording myself with the camera during the activation, so this was a clear guidance to record about this as well in my video, and that's what I'm doing now. Anyway, first of all, I would like to say a few about this. How do you recognize these activations? How do you discern between the dreams, the ordinary dreams, when you're just subconsciously either releasing something or walking somewhere through the astral fields or something like that, or this light activation, which is truly a lucid experience? You can easily decipher between the two because this light activation feels like when you wake up, you know, when it's ordinary dreams, you sometimes feel gotta write it down the first second because then you'll forget it. And you do. You keep forgetting it during the day. And sometimes at the end of the day, you don't even remember anymore what the dream was about and all the details. While in this light activation, you remember everything because it's a feeling procedure. It's not that you're dreaming. You're basically there. It's an altered state of consciousness, of course. It's a higher realm. You're not... Your physical body, of course, is directly experiencing this, but it's happening on a higher level. And that's what you can then, in the dream, it's not a dream, but we call it a dream. You can say a dream light activation or a sleep light activation or a midnight visitation, so to say. And you will know everything. You will remember the color, the senses, the tone. Some people even might feel tastes or smells or whatever. I always remember how the buzzing vibration feels like and what the color is. I always feel the exact feelings because you feel sensations. These are the lucid states when we feel sensation. In a normal dream, you kind of like just see pictures. Sometimes you cry during that dream or you feel a certain emotion, but it's different. Here you feel the actual sensations. And when you wake up, you cannot forget it because it was the exact experience. It was an actual experience. It wasn't like a dream or like when you daydream or you have a vision. It's something different. Everything, of course, exists. It's a reality, whether you perceive it with your imagination or not, because it's all part of the consciousness of one. But these activations, they're very real. And sometimes at the beginner stage, people might get afraid, as I was the first time too. But now I see that even in my dream, I invoked it myself. It's like when you reach the higher states of octave of being, you will be more guided to invoke certain energies, and you will know how to work with the energies of light and these beings of light and universal guides and the energy of one. You will know how to deal with that more. You'll be becoming the master of energy. You will know how to master your own bodies and, of course, invoke the further assistance if it's so needed. So how do you also know that something that you have a dream about that was really real? It's because when you wake up, you feel different. You feel different than before going to bed. I felt really excited. I felt like, wow, the first instant, I need to record this. I knew the exact guidance and message about this, and I was really guided to do it. And also, you feel when you receive new light information, when you receive new light packages, it's kind of hard to explain, but they basically are changing your physical DNA. Your light being on its own is changing your physical DNA of this body that you have chosen as your ascension vehicle during this transformation process, transfiguration and transmutation. But in a way, these beings are also helping you externally. So they're changing your DNA. They're putting new codes of light into our DNA. It's being reactivated. It's being rebirthed. Also, it's in a way, how do I say this? You just feel different. So like I said, when you know that you've received new light, the next day you will feel kind of, sometimes you feel like shaking a bit, but not in a bad way. You're very hyper, but this hyperactivity in your body, sometimes you feel like you're a bit ungrounded because these energies take time to settle in your body. So that's why today, after another activation that I did, this was the rite of passage from the Children of the Sun, which I keep doing like 2 to 3 times a week, and are really helpful. And I think they influence this process as well a lot. You invoke these energies and they just trigger things in your physical reality. It's how it's happening. So when I did that, I was immediately guided to go for a run, because then when you're really physically active, you ground your energy. So if you have one of these activations, it's really important to then just sit for a while, at least, on Mother Earth. That these energies can have the abilities to ground through Mother Gaia as well. Because being connected with Mother Earth and our own Sacred Heart, being completely open and pure, this is the vehicle for ascension. This is the path of ascension. The path of ascension is making peace with the third dimension, is making peace with all that is, no longer accepting it is your reality, but making and being at peace with it. And then love, being love in action, not talking about love, but walking our talk, basically embodying love, living love in action, showing it through every cell of our body until every cell of our body vibrates and sends out only love frequency. That is the vehicle for ascension. That is what propels us to the next level of experiencing this reality. I was just listening to many in-light radio shows on Blog Talk recently on my iPod. It was really good. It was really amazing. I got a lot of the confirmations that I felt myself. I saw that basically we're all receiving the same guidance from spirit, like moving our bodies, being in nature. For instance, that's when you instantly make your vibration higher, you raise it. The same guidance comes from everyone. Right now, our most important job, our task, is to keep holding that vibration as high as we can, to allow the light into space for others to enter in it as well when they're ready. They have their own pace, remember that. And when I was listening to today's show, it was kind of like an archive show, but I really chose it for today. During my run, I was listening to it, and it was speaking about different experiences. People called in, and they were sharing their own experiences on this path and having some questions. And a lot was said about this, how to raise the vibration, how to keep it how to keep that state of joy, just being out in nature. But that means grounding these high energies that are now moving through our bodies, because our bodies are basically the divine vehicle to embrace that divine light. We have chosen this. We have chosen to embody this light and then to share it with the world, to ground it through Mother Earth and then through inner vortex of Earth, which is the inner Earth. Send it out. You can do a lot of guided activations, meditations on this so much. And like I said, these light activations that we receive during our sleep time, sometimes even, during your nap time. I had one of those in my nap times. Usually I don't get told who is doing that. You know, I never ask which being are you, what you're doing to me, because I feel that these are all benevolent entities, and it doesn't really matter who it is, because you're one, they're your family, they're cosmic brothers and sisters, they're light beings, they're not in form. They're beyond this form. So they are working with that fraction of creation. We're working here as a ground crew on Earth. They're assisting us this way, and we're assisting others on Earth through our own embodiment of this. So I never really received guidance on who is which entity, except one time when this was during a nap, and I forgot it for a second. But then there was this trigger, and it made me aware that, oh my God, I just received another light activation when I fell asleep during one of the guided meditations. And it was Mother Mary, and I think it was Archangel Michael. And in one of my light activation also during the night, I also knew that it was Archangel Michael's light, because it was bluish, purple bluish, and I just felt safe in that presence. Sometimes you may have a feeling that you're not safe in the dream, in the lucid dream. Remember, you can co-create in that dream. You can receive guidance, like I was co-creating, you know, and received guidance, I need to record this. You can also co-create with it, because in the lucid dream, you are a co-creator of that experience. It's not something that's happening to you. You co-create with it. So you can choose if something doesn't feel right to you, because a lot of the people are not tuning into the higher energies. There might be a lot of astral beings who might visit you during the night that are not always of the fullest light. How do you know that the beings that are there are of the light? You will feel fully safe, supported, and maybe even though sometimes might be a bit fears just because you're not used to it yet. But after a few such experiences, you will feel fully comfortable in that experience, and you will just know. And most of the times towards the, when you're really used to it, when you're really accommodated with it, you're just going to invoke it yourself like I did tonight. And you will know what is for your highest good. You will keep co-creating with that, and you will keep being in flow. So it's really not important who these beings are. It's more important what they do. And like I said, they help with bringing new light codes, with new symbols. They're putting it into our DNA matrix and our bodies. And from the highest spiritual bodies, they're then descending to the lowest of the frequency, which is the physical body is the most dense one. So that's why we need to ground then these energies. Like go have, for instance, go for a run, go do something something like an exercise for you. Choose it on your soul level. Choose something that is in alignment with your soul. Yesterday I was posting a lot on Facebook about what is really important, and the exercise is key, alongside our feeding system, alongside changing our diet and making it more filled with light and raw and more connected to something that directly connects us with earth, you know, earth-based foods, what grows in earth, plant-based food, really something also that will ground us. So it's not just about eating something that will make us vibrate somewhere away. I believe that it's really important to eat what grows inside earth as well. We need to have that balance, especially beings who are very high in energy sometimes can go way up high, but our mission is to be here. Our mission is to go through this ascension in the body. It was told this way today during that radio show that, you know, the host of the show explained that, like I always say, I resonate with this mostly. He said that not all beings have chosen. Many have chosen just to view, to observe the ascension process that's happening, of course, conclusion of a 26,000-year-old cycle. But many are just choosing to observe. They're not going through it, but they also learn through the process as they observe it. So we cannot always understand, but not everyone has chosen the same path. But we know, because we're so driven, you know, everything in our lives needs to follow that line. And he was saying that ascension is happening in the physical body. I say the same thing. We're ascending with the body. That's where we're changing the frequency of this body, healing the DNA of many patterns of our ancestors, of emotional sides, mental states. All the lower bodies needs to be transmuted. And people think sometimes still that that's coming from the external. No, because all blockages and all unforgiveness and all fear, everything came from the internal. The blockage is created through our internal core. And that's why only that which have caused it can unblock it. So we unblock these blockages through our inner core, which is basically pure love and compassion. Also, it was a lot of it was explained about the three-folded flame in one of those shows. That's why I'm going to do the activation tomorrow on the three-folded flame, because it's important for our equilibrium, for our balance. A lot of this is also happening in our sleep states. But basically, we have the power to speed up the process, to integrate it more through consciously meditating into those states. Also, yesterday when I was listening to one of those shows, it was about the dispensation of karma, how we can do it. And there was this beautiful procedure in meditation described by the co-host. And this wonderful lady of light, she said that we can do this by tuning into our hearts, like going into your heart. It's how you can do it. You can imagine you're walking into that tunnel, in the tunnel of your heart, of your sacred space, and there you will see like a room. I don't know, I don't remember what was the title of it. I'll try to browse it through, or I'll either send a link below of that radio in one of my videos. I'll try to share as most as I can, although it's very time consuming to share everything that you know how it is sometimes. It was, you go in, you see the room, it's like a dispensation of karma room, and you go in and you step, and there's like councils there. And you say, sometimes you can even bring people that you've shared lives with, in, you know, maybe if they're not consciously aware that they can do this in this lifetime, in the conclusion of 26,000-year-old cycles, they can do that on themselves. You can ask to bring those people along, and you can also ask this for them. So for that accumulation, you know, a lot of us have entered this plane without any karma. We came here to assist, but while we're here, we can also accumulate karma. I was talking about this. I just had a deja vu. I made a video about this. Probably one of my unlisted videos as well. But basically, everyone can do this. When you come to the third density, you have all the power to accumulate karma. So that is nothing scary. That's just something that's not in complete perfect balance of source, of your true nature of soul. So basically, you can come there in that room, you propose that, and you say to the council, and the Lady of Light, she said, no one can basically, she never experienced that anyone would be turned down. So when I did this today, when I went, after my run, I was sitting in my meadow, I did this meditation as well, brought all the people who I was more in intimate connections with in my life, brought them with me. I asked for this dispensation. So I kind of saw like a note where it was with black letters on a white note. It said yes. And then it was a beautiful experience. I was asked that it's all fine, that I can leave the room and go to the next one, which will be a surprise room. And then it's like, okay, you know, I was entering the next hall. I mean, it was at the same hall, but just further down along the path. And it said, Christed room, something like Christed space. And there was like writings, you know, on the walls, and like books, you know, like everyone has its own book. So it was like a name. So I was asked that I can invoke for all those who do not remember their Christed seed, that I can invoke them, you know, that can help to invoke that. So I saw the names written, and I sprinkled, like, you know, it was down below, you could see the earth, and I was able to sprinkle it down if they were willing to choose, if they will tap to the soul level, to the, you know, to the soul level of their core, that they can basically, the seeds are planted. It's much easier for them to tap into their Christ itself. So you can do that as well. I mean, you have to go through your own meditation process. Everyone is working differently with their inner guidance system. That is how it was for me. So I was in that Christed room, saw these names, I invoked that. I was asked to go to the next room, which was kind of like a confession room. So there I was sitting and talking to the last person I had a kind of like a relationship with, and I was saying things to them. They were like completely silent. They didn't say anything. It was just me sitting there and telling them something from a perspective of a motherly love, like a divine mother to a child. It was very beautiful. And then I saw them again in the pink bubble. It's very important to wrap everyone in the pink bubble of love, unconditional love, divine, perfect love of source. And then what happened is, you know, they were again at the end, when they made this conclusion, I wrapped them up, the bubbles again started drifting away, and it popped at some level. And I asked, why did it pop? And it said, because it's all okay. You know, this is a signal. This is a sign of it's all released. The popping was kind of the releasing of the pressure, of the tension, of anything that might have been still held there. Anything that is not within the, you know, the nature and truth of that divine love. So it popped. I was asked to leave that room. Again, I went to the Christed room. I was asked to look, to go beyond. You know, before I was just seeing those. It was all gold. I need to say it was all golden. Like this hallway was golden, and these writings in the books, like, you know, each book of the lives of certain people. Then I was asked to move beyond that golden light, and what I saw after was like the new earth. The voice said, it's really already built. It's already here. I mean, not built, but co-created. It's already here. And there was not people there. It was like all just like meadow, and there was this big tree, and I saw a tree, and I said, what is this? Like the tree of life. I said, okay, the tree of life. And then the voice said, The tree of life is rewritten, rewired every 26,000 years. So every 26,000 years, the cycle of creation begins brand new. So the tree of life, which represents the life, for instance, here on Earth, we have a tree of life here, is rewritten. It has new information. It has new potential of creation, like a new in-breath. And I'm like, wow, really interesting. And I asked, why isn't there a lot of people there? Just maybe had the feeling that there's a presence, there's just a few, and the answer was yeah, because not a lot of the people are there, you know, it's being prepared. So then I felt this peace. It was like beautiful and glowy, and it was all perfect. So that was like a symbolism of what's really going on. Like in my, it was not a vision, it was just something that an inner knowing. It was not like I was imagining it, it was just happening randomly, you know, like conversation with your inner presence. And then I was asked to leave this room. I mean, I entered it, you know, then the same way I entered it, I left the room. I wanted to go into to see the karmic room again, but it was kind of like just the wall, brick walls, almost like said it's no longer there. It's no longer necessary. It's okay. You don't need to deal with it anymore. I'm like, okay. And there was like this staircase, like those, what do you call these? You know, like when you have at a mall, these steps that are electronic. I don't know. So anyway, I went on them and I just was releasing. I mean, I was flowing down, and then I was back in my reality. So it was a really beautiful thing. And I wanted to share this with you because you can do your own meditations. You can do your own activations. You have so much assistance. You have so much is offered right now, and it's really speeding up. That's why I feel it's happening so intensely. For instance, before I wasn't guided to meditate that much. I was more guided to share and to express. Now I'm being guided to do both equally. Also to meditate, take the time for myself, to do a lot through my inner spirit. And everything I do as I'm guided, I'm called to. I listen to my feeling. I always respond, because a lot of the people still act from ego, out of the need. I don't do anything out of need or obligation. That's pure spiritual ego. I just do things as I'm guided to naturally. And like I say, some people might force you to do things their own way. But remember, we're all called in by the spirit. We're not called in by human ego. We don't answer human ego. We're only here to serve the divine. So if people are judging the way you do things, the way you serve, the way you are flowing with life, don't listen. Just send them love and release them on your path if they're not there and stepping alongside this path with you. I'm so happy I was able to share this experience. I hope it gave you many assistance as well. So don't be afraid. Everything that is happening to you is chosen by you. You've chosen it on some level, and it's really happening for your greater benefit. We're being activated, we're being uplifted, and we're ascending. That's it. Okay. Stay love, my Ascension pioneers. Love you all. Bye.